to be a vet as long as I can remember, probably for all of my conscious life, ever since I was 3 when I watched Emergency Vets on Animal Planet. Just the appeal of helping people and helping the animals that they love.
When she was about 2 years old, she would follow any dog that she saw. She would go ahead and just, try to pet it. I had to teach her how to go ahead and ask the people whether she was allowed to pet their dog. And she loved cats too, but mostly dogs.
She's always loved animals ever since she was a little girl. About 4 or 5 years ago, she said she wanted to become a vet.
My ultimate life goal is to be a vet, and to be a good one, and hopefully to help a lot of animals in the process. I've always been surrounded by animals when I was growing up. We've had dogs like this idiot. We've had guinea pigs, we've had hermit crabs, we had fish. I think we even had a hamster at one point. Oh. This is Muggles. He's about 4 or 5. That's you. He's an American Bulldog boxer mix. They found him in the streets of Philly. The cops picked him up.
Oh, I think early on, the minute she knew that there was a job that involved animals, even when she was playing soccer when she was about 4 years old, she would go ahead and yell "bird of prey" and point to the sky and try to distract all the other players to look for the bird of prey. And her soccer coach, 10 years later, still recalls that. One particular instance with an animal that really influenced my life was my dog Teddy. I was a little baby when we had him, and he was a terrier mixed with an Australian Shepherd, which are both really high-strung dogs, and they're very nervous. When I was younger, about 2 or 3, I was walking down the stairs with a baseball mitt, and I fell on Teddy.
All of a sudden, I saw Allie go by outside the doorway and fall on top of Teddy.
And all the dog saw was the baseball mitt come crashing down.
I heard Teddy growl for a second, and then her scream.
So he immediately just growled and caught her on 2 parts of her face.
The glove went over his head. He didn't know what happened, so he turned around and bit me in the face. That didn't really hurt me as a child. I mean, obviously it hurt physically, but there's really no emotional or mental scars, really.
And she even wasn't scared of him afterwards. We knew, we kept him secluded from her because he was just an excitable dog.
I still have physical scars on my face from him, but that day kind of really made me realize how important animal behavior is.
But that never deterred her from liking dogs, believe it or not. She ended up with 6 stitches in her face and had to be strapped to a board to get the stitches in, and she still didn't care.
She handles it pretty well. She doesn't seem to get too stressed out, quite honestly. If you've looked on her bedroom wall, she spends all her spare time drawing internal organs of animals.
Most teenage girls aren't used to walking into their older sister's rooms and seeing a picture of a tumor on a dog's liver on their sister's wall. So I guess you could say it's changed me.
The program I'm in, it is based around kids who want to become involved in animal or botanical sciences. For example, some kids in my class want to be horticulturalists, others want to be marine biologists, a lot of them want to be vets or horse, large animal vets, small animal vets, and we focus mainly on that in my program. We have to do supervised agricultural experiments called SAEs, where you can either grow a garden, you can do a whole bunch of stuff as long as it has to do with agriculture. And I chose mine to be volunteering here at the cat shelter.
I worked at a newspaper in the area, and I had relationships because people were putting pets in the newspaper. And this woman I met that organized this group, I knew she was very responsible and that she knew a lot about cats. And I wanted Allie to learn from the best, so that's how I found out about this group.
I take care of the cats. I clean their cages to make sure that they're healthy. I socialize them. I get to play with them. I make sure that they're adopted into good homes. Just feeling happy when a cat's adopted or just years, hopefully I will be doing my first residency. I'll be fresh out of college. I will be looking for a job in the veterinary field. Hopefully I'll be able to find a good vet, go learn from them, and then bring it to my own practice later on in the future.
I see you're probably still going to school to be a vet.
I'm looking at University of Vermont, University of Maine, Purdue, Delaware Valley College, and this is a bit of a stretch, but Cornell. Because it's Ivy League and it's the top veterinary school in the country. It's really elite and it's really hard to get into. University of Illinois, and this is from Cornell. I'm not as nervous about leaving home. I'm more nervous about what if I'm not good enough, what if I fail. There's a bunch of what ifs in my mind, and if some of them get answered, if some of them happen, it's going to be nerve-wracking. So hopefully what if stays what if.
I could definitely see her do it because she hasn't really wavered from her desire to become a vet ever since, as I was mentioning before, she's been saying it since she was a little kid. And most kids change their minds along the way, but she doesn't seem to. It seems like every year she seems to be more and more committed.
Being admitted to the profession of veterinary medicine, I solemnly swear to use my scientific knowledge and skills for the benefit of society through the protection of animal health, the relief of animal suffering, the conservation of animal resources, the promotion of public health, and the advancement of medical knowledge. I will practice my profession conscientiously, with the dignity in keeping with the principles of the veterinary medical ethics. I accept as a lifelong obligation the continual improvement of my profession, my professional knowledge and competence.